battleground states that we've been unable yet to project. We talked about Indiana. Let's take a look at the state of Virginia. It is 50-49, but still so very close. 86% of the precincts reporting, and 27,000 vote lead for Barack Obama. North Carolina, another state, battleground. There is Obama, very close, 8,000 vote lead with 75% of the precincts
and
reporting.
And again, Charlie, Virginia. No Democrat has won Virginia since 1964. No Democrat has won North Carolina since 1976. These competitive this late in the evening says so much.
And Florida is the last one. Unable to project that yet. Of course, so close in the year 2000. Here it is with a little under 200,000 vote lead for Barack Obama, 67% of the precincts reporting. All right, John Lewis is joining us. John Lewis, a congressman, hero of the civil rights movement, somebody who was controversial in some of the comments that he made during the campaign. Congressman, it's good to have you with us. Your thoughts of the evening as it's gone. Oops, we don't have the sound. Congressman, let me stop you for a moment because your microphone is not operating, and I gather actually from the signs that are behind you, you're at your own campaign headquarters. John Lewis, who is going to be reelected easily tonight in the state of Georgia, first elected in 1986, and I hope somebody in my ear will tell me if we've got his microphone back. All right, well, Congressman, if you can stand by for just a few moments, we'll get back to you in just a moment when we get your microphone hooked up. I say this as if he can hear me. I hope he can.
Before we get back to him, this is a non sequitur, but just for our own interest, we asked the question of $200,000 plus salaried voters today. Are they going to vote their interest on Barack Obama or John McCain or Barack Obama? Because as we know, Barack Obama said he's going to raise taxes on these people, and we wonder, will people vote against taxes on themselves? Well, here's the answer. 53% for Obama, 45% for McCain.
Interesting. Congressman Lewis, I think we've got your microphone going now. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Terrific. Charlie Gibson here in New York, and it's good to have you with us. Just curious about your thoughts on the evening.
Well, I'm delighted to be with you tonight.
Your thoughts on the evening.
I must tell you, it is unreal. It is unbelievable. But I think tonight we're witness in America what I like to call a nonviolent revolution, a revolution of values, a revolution of ideas. This is amazing to me that in the past few years we've come such a distance that we are preparing to lay down the burden of race and move ahead. Just think a few short years ago here in the American South, many of the people that have voted tonight and all day today and early voting and advanced voting could not register to vote. People had to pass a so-called literacy test, pay a poll tax, and today these individuals are electing the next president of the United States. They're black, they're white, they're Latinos, they're Asian American, they're Native American. We're in the process of building a multi-racial democracy.
Congressman, it was less than 50 years ago that you were in the civil rights marches, that you were beaten at one point, and were very much a hero to those who followed the civil rights movement. And I wonder if you ever thought you would see a day when somebody, African American, would be this close to the presidency of the United States.
I tell you, if someone had told me back in 1961 when we were on the Freedom Rides, in Mississippi in 64, trying to get people registered, or marching across that bridge in Selma in 1965 for the right to vote, that I would be witnessing this unbelievable and unreal transformation of American politics. I would say you're crazy, you're out of your mind, you don't know what you're talking about. It is a new day in America, and I think we're going to send a message not just to ourselves, but to the people of the world.
And Congressman Lewis, this is George Stephanopoulos here. I was just thinking, as you were talking, it made me think of President Lyndon Johnson. Signed the Civil Rights Act into law in 1964, the Voting Rights Act in 1965. And when he did that, he said he thought he was signing away the South to the Democrats for a generation. Now Democrats are competitive in the South. Your thoughts on President Johnson?
Well, what President Johnson did on August 6, 1965, and George, just before he signed the act, when he made that unbelievable speech on March 15, 1965, to introduce the Voting Rights Act to the nation and to a joint session of the Congress. And at the end of the speech, he said, and we shall overcome, and we shall overcome. I was sitting next to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the home of a doctor in Selma, and I looked at Dr. King and tears came down his face. He started crying, and we all cried a little to hear Lyndon Johnson say, and we shall overcome. And Dr. King said, John, we will make it from Selma to Montgomery, and the Voting Rights Act will be passed. If it hadn't been for Lyndon Johnson and the Voting Rights Act and the involvement of hundreds and thousands and millions of our citizens, there would be no Barack Obama tonight as President of the United States of America.
Congressman, there's 63 electoral votes to go. We're not ready, obviously, to declare anybody yet will be the winner of this election. But should he get to 270, is there another tear you'll shed tonight?
Well, I tell you, I cried a little today when I cast my vote, and I've been crying during the past 2 days. I don't know whether I have any tears left, but earlier tonight, I tell you, I was at Ebenezer Church speaking to a group, hundreds and thousands of citizens, and when Pennsylvania went over to Barack Obama, I shouted for joy, and I didn't know I could jump so high. And I think I'm going to shout and shed some more tears before the night is over.
John Lewis, I appreciate your being with us tonight from the state of Georgia. Congressman John Lewis, who himself is being reelected, but obviously with a very unique perspective on this campaign.
Why don't we just take a break and go out and look at some of these crowds in this giant melting pot of a nation. Congressman Lewis called it a nonviolent revolution. Let's just look at all the faces and all the crowds that are gathering.
It is now 22 minutes after 10 on the East Coast. Barack Obama, 207 electoral votes. John McCain with 135. Some big states still to come. California closes at 11 Eastern, Oregon, Washington, and some major battleground states still to call as this election continues. Stay with us.
You're watching Election Night 2008. ABC Election Night Vote 08 is on VCast. Get up-to-the-minute reports and video 2008 update.
Hi again, everyone. Continuing our election coverage now with the results from Massachusetts. 3 ballot questions. Voters have voted to ban greyhound racing at Massachusetts' 2 dog tracks. Question 3 going down.
People caught with an ounce or less of marijuana will not be considered criminals in Massachusetts. Voters have approved a measure to ease the marijuana laws.
And taking a closer look now at question 1, this was the income tax issue, and Massachusetts voters have rejected the call to eliminate the state's income tax. The historical significance of this election cannot be underestimated tonight.
We've seen crowds in Times Square in New York. We've seen crowds gathering in Chicago and crowds in Boston. Todd Kaskevich live at the Dorchester Church, where Senator Obama supporters are gathered tonight. Todd?
And let's show you some video from inside the church. This is a scene that's being played out across the country tonight, people gathering for watch parties. And politics aside, an awful lot of people are focusing on what kind of a statement an Obama victory would make, what it would indicate about how far the country has come in terms of race relations. Moments ago, I spoke with former state representative Michael Haynes, a civil rights activist who once marched with Martin Luther King. Here's what he had to say.
If I was a newspaper editor and I was doing a headline for tomorrow and assured that he won tonight, my headline would say, the first line would say, America won, W-O-N, and the second line would say, America won, O-N-E. That's what I think it really means. That is a great victory for the highest ideals and hopes of the United States of America.
Now, coming up at 11 o'clock, a story about the lengths to which some people were willing to go to make sure that they got out to vote today. That's coming up at 11. Live at Dorchester, Todd Kiskevich, News Center 5. Ed, Heather, back to you.
We did a little exit polling tonight, so let's take a look at our News Center 5 exit poll. In the next few years, folks, we asked you, do you think race relations in this country will get better? Most of you think it will. Stay about the same. That's the next one. And then get worse. A few of you think that. Let's bring in our analysts. And Ann Murphy, let's go back to what we just heard. I love that. America won, W-O-N. America won, O-N-E. That really resonates tonight, doesn't it?
I think that just says it all. And I think it's very encouraging.